Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tech Careers with Diego. And so today I'm going to be talking to you all about how you can become a product manager. So this is a question I get a lot from different people. So working in software, product management is a very interesting and niche type of role. So a product manager is supposed to guide the vision of any specific software product by combining a couple of things. One would be the direction from executive leadership. That might be a board of directors, investors, the actual execs of a company. Combining that with some competitive market analysis. So, for example, our product can do these features, but a competitor's product can do other features, right? So you have to do a bit of an analysis to see what things they can do that you can't, but also what are some new things that you can build for your users that'll give you a competitive edge, right? And then I think the last component here that a product manager does in terms of guiding an overall vision of a product is actually doing research with users and seeing what it is that they're running into. What are some of the pain points they run into? What are you hearing? What's some good feedback you get from them? Right? So then the product manager gets all of this information, does some data analysis as well, and comes up with a product roadmap, essentially saying, this is what we're going to build for this software in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, however long that might be. Okay, but how do you actually become a product manager? The interesting thing about product management is no one necessarily goes to school, to college, right, and says, I want to study to be a product manager. You'll find that there aren't any degrees in product management, really, at least undergraduate degrees right now. So the way people end up finding their way into product management is from a whole multitude of different directions. However, before I start diving into those, I do want to at least explain what options are available from an education perspective. And so, like I said, there aren't a lot of degrees or tracks right now in the undergraduate level of education to go into product management. But there are a couple of kind of combinations of things you can study that'll probably put you in a good place to start. So that would mostly be any kind of courses in IT, business administration, and combining that with courses in actual software development and computer science, right? So if you can round out your skill set in college between programming skills along with IT and business management, combine those together and you'll be in a pretty good place to kind of get a sense for a product manager or for what a product manager will need going into the real world. However, there are a couple of graduate courses or graduate degrees that are starting to come about nowadays. I'll just talk about a couple of them here. So Carnegie Mellon actually has a Master's of Science in Product Management. This is kind of a first of its kind. Northwestern University also has a similar kind of degree available. Other options would be, for example, NYU, so New York University. They now offer an MBA degree that has a specialization in product management. And I know the University of Wisconsin is also kind of doing the same thing. So I guess the question is a graduate degree really worth it to get into product management? If you are an undergrad or you're just leaving college and you're just starting your career and you want to get into product management, I would probably argue that it's not necessarily worth it to jump into one of those degrees right now. MBAs are notoriously expensive. Master's degrees, like an MS, for example, might not be as expensive as an MBA, but it will be a lot of hard work. So to me, if you're trying to crack into product management somehow, I would only say that this route is a good one if you already have a couple of years in software experience already and you're able to kind of work on a graduate degree on the side or at night. This way you're able to combine your experience that you have maybe as an engineer, support analyst or something like that, along with some good graduate level education. But if you're just coming out, I would probably say, hey, let's start getting some actual experience in software first before you think about dropping 50, 80, 100K into more education that may or may not actually get you to product management right away. All right, so now let's talk about what I like to call entry-level product management roles. I think this is probably a better option if you are just coming out of college and you're trying to get into a product management track sooner rather than later. So there are a handful of roles that all kind of have similar titles, but different organizations will use these titles in different ways. So for example, I would say start looking into roles such as a product analyst, a business analyst, an IT business analyst, and a systems analyst. So these are jobs that for the most part may require a little bit of experience, but this is where you'll see 0 to 1 years or 0 to 2 years of experience. Um, but it doesn't actually require actual product management experience beforehand. So these are roles that if you've had an internship during college, or if you're already just starting off your career and some kind of software related role, maybe it's software QA, maybe it's software engineering. These are roles that you can actually get into fairly early on in your career that will grow into a potential product management track. So for example, most of these jobs that I outlined, so product analyst, BA analyst, technical business analyst, what you're going to find is they all have a lot of things in common. They require working with users, gathering requirements, being able to get those requirements, spill them out into user stories, right, for an engineer to be able to grab that and develop. Also requires skills in presenting, good communication skills, right? So you might have to present to stakeholders, to clients. So essentially, these roles are just getting you ready to be a product manager. And once you can get a couple of years of experience in a role like this, you'll see that you'll be able to transition into a product manager proper title fairly easily because it's essentially the same skill set. All right, and now I'm going to talk about the last way that I see a lot of people become product managers, and this is transitioning into product management from a quote-unquote tangential role. So maybe you're a software developer already, maybe you are a software QA analyst, a tester of some kind, maybe you're a product designer, or maybe you are like a customer support representative. There's a lot of these roles within software that if you can find your way into one of these, being able to transition into product management is actually kind of straightforward, believe it or not. So let's go through some of these roles here. So I mentioned software developer. Software developers can make a really good product manager. Having that technical expertise can really inform a product manager in terms of road mapping, being able to scope and understand the feasibility of certain features. So those are good. And if you're a developer or even a QA analyst, you're already working in a Scrum world or Agile world, hopefully. So you're likely already working with product owners or product managers on a day-to-day basis, or at least a couple times a week. So you know what they're doing. You have visibility into that role. So you would have a good sense of what that role would entail. So if there ever is an opening, right, this is where you would have to speak up or try to form partnerships with whoever is in that product team. Let them know, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. Let me shadow you for a week or so, right? So just have those kinds of conversations, and you'll find that more often than not, people are going to want to help you. But then there are other roles that are not necessarily a software developer or tester. So customer-specific roles for a type of support role for products, software products, are pretty good, as are sales jobs or sales engineering jobs, right? So the reason why this is important is these type of roles, maybe you're not actually building the software or testing the software, but you know the software. So if you can become a subject matter expert in any given product, for example, if you're on the sales side, you're probably demoing the software to clients all the time or prospective clients. If you're on the support side, you're debugging and working with clients all the time. And so you know very well how the software works. So if I'm hiring for a product manager, if I know someone in one of these roles knows the ins and outs of this product already, if I were to grab you and transition you over to be a product manager for this product, you're going to be eons quicker and faster than a new hire externally, right? And so that's really important for an organization to be able to keep that subject matter expertise within the house rather than having to hire new people all the time and train them up and all the ins and outs of the software. And then I'll say the last kind of role that I've seen be able to transition into product management is actually not in sales, not anything related to actual software development, but someone who is an expert in a specific industry. So I've worked at a fintech company before, so that's financial technology. And some of the strongest product managers in that organization didn't come from engineering whatsoever, but they came from working at banks. So they would know the finance side of things really well. They knew how loan origination might work. They knew about how to be a bank teller, this kind of stuff. At another company where I've spoken or I've talked a little bit about before in travel and hospitality, there were people who became product managers there who came from the travel industry. So they knew how booking airlines would work, booking hotels. They would have these extensive systems. And that's how all booking happens in travel. And they would know how those would work. And so then when we would have our own software product that would be built on top of that layer, since they knew the industry and how all of that works, they were very useful product managers because they already knew that side of the industry. So you can become a product manager by knowing a specific industry really well and aligning yourself with a company or a job that has software as a product for the industry that you're already a good fit for, right? And so that is how you can transition from not even touching software and becoming a product manager for an industry that you are an expert in. All right, well, thanks, YouTube. That's it for today. I hope you had a good time, and if you stay here a little later, you might see a bonus clip. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so if you're watching this, you've just unlocked our bonus clip here. And because I'm a bit of a crypto nerd, that's what I'm going to talk about here today. So I want to kind of go over what's been happening in the last week in the crypto world. So the way we do that is by just essentially checking the Bitcoin chart, because as Bitcoin goes, all the other coins follow it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Bitcoin. I'm on CoinMarketCap here, by the way. Let's look at the chart. Let's go to the 1 month chart, and here you can see, about a month ago, Bitcoin was, pretty strong at $59,000. It was looking pretty good, but then suddenly we started dropping from 59 down to 50,000, from 49 down to about 42,000, and it just keeps going and going, right? This was a combination of Tesla saying they wouldn't accept Bitcoin, and some other things happening in the world as well, concerns about Bitcoin's energy usage and things like that. And so in the last week or so, we've been trying to climb out of a hole of around like $33,000. So we've been making steady climbs, and then you might have noticed that we got all the way up to like 38,000. Oh, actually 39,000. But then we started falling, and very quickly too. So you're probably wondering, okay, now what happened? What happened in the news that might have affected the price of Bitcoin so much? We went from almost 40,000 down to about 36,000. So that's a little bit of a drop there. So I'll tell you what happened. So if you don't know, just go to Twitter and you can usually find out exactly what's happening or what's affecting the price so much. Usually by checking Elon Musk. So let's look at Elon Musk. What did he tweet? So here is a tweet. He tweeted a joke saying Bitcoin with a broken heart emoji. And then he makes fun of Bitcoin with a lame Linkin Park kind of meme. It's not even really funny. And he followed that up with another meme saying, I miss you. Why are you crying? And the dude said he misses you too, but he's looking at a Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is tanking. So these memes aren't all that funny. But this is what did it, believe it or not. This is what tanked it. So let's look at the time. 8 o'clock on June 3rd. And let's go back to the chart. Yeah, around the same time on June 3rd, right? Time zones are a little different, but that's essentially what triggered this. So those not so funny memes ended up tanking the market.